The season hasn't even started, and neither has the preseason, but the Thunder's injury concerns are mounting. From the Dodge Sports Desk, I'm Mike Sherman, and this is Inside Thunder Basketball with Darnell Mayberry. Darnell, the Thunder opens preseason play Wednesday in Billings, Montana, and the big story through the first week of training camp has been injuries. What's the latest?
Well, we talked to Joe Smith today at practice. He's doing better. He did practice today. He's suffering from a damaged toenail. Both of his toenails on his big toe are actually peeling off, and another one's growing underneath. It has internal bleeding. It's all kind of gruesome stuff that you don't want to see.
Right. Or hear about,
really. But he's recovering well. I don't know if he'll play tomorrow. He's sort of probable game time decision, that sort of thing. Robert Swift and Mo Sene, just for the record, he's not going to play for a while. I mean, whenever we talk about Mo Sene, he's recovering from microfracture surgery on his knee. So he's going to be out probably at least the first month of the season.
And that's the surgery that Amari Stoudemire had. At one point, Jason Kidd had it. Kenyon Martin had it. It's sort of an in vogue injury in the NBA, and it sets guys out for a long time.
Right. Most guys, at least a year. But Mo Sene should play this year. He had it in the spring. He should play at some point this year. Robert Swift is dealing with a hand injury. He fractured his right hand. That's his shooting hand. He hasn't been able to practice much at all. P.J. Carlesimo's down on him. So the Thunder's front court is really banged up right now.
What part about this is the usual aches and pains of preseason, and what part of it is something more serious?
You know, I think Mo Sene is obviously more serious. So he's going to miss extended time. Robert Swift, he injured his hand a couple weeks before the start of training camp. You can call it a serious injury, but as you said earlier, they're not paying him really to score much down low. He's really getting paid to block out, grab some rebounds every now and again, and set screens. So that's not even, I wouldn't consider very serious. I mean, I'm not trying to diminish how much pain he might be in because I don't know. It's not my hand. But Joe Smith's is sort of nagging as well, and I don't think that's serious. So the good news is I think this team will be healthy going into the regular season, you would think.
Coach P.J. Carlesimo had some kind of sharp words for Robert Swift in particular. What did he say, and what's behind that?
On Saturday, he called Robert Swift a major problem. On Monday, he said that he's getting behind. He's not getting it. He's not practicing. He's not on the floor, so he's not going to be able to play. You know, I think what's behind it is that PJ is sort of getting tired of seeing Robert Swift. This is PJ's second year here, and he's already tired of seeing Robert Swift miss games due to injury, miss practices due to injury, and he's just to the point where he wants to see this guy on the court. And he had a good quote where he says, at some point, part of playing is being healthy. And at some point, you don't get mad at guys for being injured, but you have to play. If you're injured all the time, you can't count on guys. And right now, he can't count on Robert Swift.
They're trying to evaluate the 3 7-footers drafted by the previous regime in Seattle. And that's Mo Sene, that's Robert Swift, and Johan Petro. 2 of the 3 not available. So they really don't, in those 3, they don't know what they have. Is that part of his frustration too?
Yeah, and more than that, I think you only have Chris Wilcox and Nick Collison healthy at this point. And PJ is going to be pressed to find minutes at that 4 or 5 spot. Without these guys healthy, I mean, he really needs these guys. It's not like they just want to toss them out there and see what they can do. That too, but they need these healthy bodies to sort of give them depth in that front court.
Brings me to my next question. The Thunder plays Minnesota on Wednesday, in Billings, Montana, Sacramento on Friday, and Golden State on Saturday. Darnell, you'll be there. But one of the big questions is, what are they going to do for a front line this week? I think you've written this, that means a lot of minutes, perhaps, for Chris Wilcox and Nick Collison, and that's not exactly the way you want to do it in the preseason, is it?
Not at all. I mean, they're looking at possibly playing these guys 35 minutes, which are regular season numbers. I don't think either one of them averaged 35 minutes last season. So you definitely don't want those guys averaging that much in the preseason. I think what you'll see is Jeff Green having to move over to 4, the power forward spot a little bit more, which they'd like to do anyway when they go small. But they don't want to have to do it more. They want to evaluate Jeff Green at small forward throughout this preseason to see what he can offer at small forward and play him there more in the regular season. Other than that, they really don't have. I mean, they're praying that Joe Smith can play. They're praying that Johan Petro can play, because if not, you're really going to see maybe Chris Alexander out there on the court. And, you really don't want a guy who's probably not going to be here in the regular season to be playing minutes and sort of out there with combinations that you want to evaluate for the regular season.
Chris Alexander, one of 3 people the Thunder signed shortly before opening training camp. For him, a great opportunity. It looks like he's really going to get a long look on this road trip.
Yeah, and if it's not this team, it could be with someone else. So the good news for him is that you're always auditioning, whether it's practice, whether it's games, preseason. You're always auditioning, so he could help this team in the short term and help himself in the long term.
Beyond the front line, what else will these 3 games tell us this week?
I think it'll tell us, how ready Russell Westbrook is to step into a starting role or prominent role in the offense. I think it'll tell us, where Kevin Durant is, how much he's improved since last season. Same with Jeff Green. And then the most important thing is I think we're going to start to see lineups being flushed out. Who's going to play where? How many minutes are going to go to guys like Desmond Mason, Damian Wilkins? You got some battles there at the guard spots. That's where they're actually deepest on this team. So I think that's what you look forward to in this preseason.
Thanks, Darnell. Listen, stay with the latest on the Thunder with the best coverage team anywhere on newsok.com, newsok.tv, and every day in the new look Oklahoman. And to join the Thunder discussion, go to Oklahoma's new NBA fan website at thundermadness.com.